It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News, coming to you live from Navigator of the Seas. We're sailing south at about 21 knots right off the coast of Baja, California, on our way to Cabo, San Lucas. A little on the chilly side this morning. A little cloudy, not as nice as it was in LA yesterday, although the temperatures were pretty cool. A couple reasons why we're doing an unscheduled show here on Saturday. One for some news items. One, I've got some special news to share with you here in just a second. But actually, just within the last little bit this morning, there's been a breaking story today. The United States Coast Guard is searching for a man that went overboard from the Carnival Mardi Gras early this morning as the ship was returning to Central Florida. The vessel was sailing on the last leg of a voyage between Grand Turk and Port Canaveral when the man went overboard. The overboard advisory was dispatched a little after midnight their time. A spokesman for Carnival Cruise Line told me just a few minutes ago that the crew of the Mardi Gras reported to the U.S. Coast Guard that an adult male guest jumped overboard during the ship's return to Port Canaveral. The ship's crew participated in search and rescue efforts until the ship was released by the Coast Guard, which continues the search. Carnival Elation, which was also in the area, helped with the search as well, assisted in the efforts to both the Mardi Gras and the Coast Guard. So, breaking news story this morning. Now, the other reason, folks, that I wanted to go live today, since I normally don't do shows on Saturday, other than the fact that this is my first day on board a new ship. And by the way, I am down across from the Cafe Promenade, which, you know, on both Freedom and Adventure of the Seas was the ideal spot for me to do my shows. It had excellent Wi-Fi. The signal was good, and it was reasonably quiet. Here, right across from Cafe Promenade, is the Playmakers Sportsbook. And it's not too bad now, but the music this morning was a lot louder. So I went in search of a better place around the ship to do the show from. This is still the best place. So if the music gets overbearing, just to try to hear me over the music. But anyway, so I'm probably going to continue doing my shows here for the week that I'm on Navigator. Now, those of you that have followed me know that I had an absolutely horrible experience on the long 5.5-hour flight from Virginia to Los Angeles. I had considered canceling my my Alaska cruise, which is 17 days from now or something, because that was going to be another long 5.5-hour flight. I wasn't sure that this old fat body with these mobility issues could stand being stuffed in an airplane again that long. I did a live stream from the Sonesta Hotel the other night, and one of you fine folks suggested ride the train. I want you guys to know that I am now the proud owner of round-trip plane tickets from Lynchburg, Virginia to Seattle, Washington. So we're going to try it. So I am not canceling Quantum of the Seas Alaska trip. I will be on it as scheduled. Just I'm going to be getting there a little differently than I had planned. And it's going to give us a new experience for this show, because it is my plan at this juncture to do my shows just like normal, even if from a train, no matter where it is. There's Wi-Fi signals on the train. Sometimes they're sketchy. But if it's a situation where it's sketchy, I can always use my phone as a hotspot. I have done a couple shows with that as providing the signal, and it works fine. So it's going to be interesting. So I will continue doing all my usual things that I do from a train, all the way across country, all the way back. So that's my real news this morning. The other thing, because Saturday, I'm not scheduled to do a podcast on Saturday, so this is not going out to the podcast network. I don't have to do the little commercial break because we don't have the podcast. I don't have to do all the processing and so forth that I normally do after the show. So keeping that in mind, we can get right on to the news now that I've finished with my sharing of the news. That is, of course, Bar Harbor. After nearly 2.5 years without cruise ships, Bar Harbor, Maine welcomed the first vessel back this week when the Norwegian Pearl anchored off the coast. It's the first of several cruise ships that will be in Bar Harbor, this month. Bar Harbor residents have been vocal about wanting to cap the number of cruise ship passengers that visit the port on any given day. Currently, they're looking to put a cap at 1,000 passengers per day, although no regulation has been enforced. Despite this, many residents see the pros to welcoming lots of cruise visitors. Bar Harbor Cruise Ship Committee has changed where the ships will anchor when they arrive in Bar Harbor. Instead of being visible easily in the harbor off Agamont Park, they are now mostly hidden behind Bar Island in Frenchman's Bay. Pearl was on a 7-night voyage that, in addition to a stop in Bar Harbor, also spent 2 nights in Bermuda. The ship will also call on Bar Harbor on its next sailing. At the end of the day, the port benefits from cruise guests. In 2019, 176 ships called to Bar Harbor, bringing over 250,000 guests to the city. The city collected a head tax of $4.46 per guest. Through mid-August, Norwegian Pearl is scheduled to continue Bermuda sailings before switching to Canada and New England voyages through mid-October. Now, after sailing for 6 weeks from Jacksonville, the Carnival Spirit is now en route to the West Coast for the Alaska sailing season. This is the first time in 18 years a Spirit-class ship has sailed from Jacksonville. The previous was Carnival Miracle when it was christened at Jacksonville back in 2004. Early in 2022, Carnival announced it was pulling both Carnival Spirit and Carnival Splendor from Australia and repositioning them to North America. Spirit, of course, went on to Jacksonville. Splendor, which has not sailed yet, is going to Alaska for the summer season in Alaska. The Spirit is now en route to Miami. Tomorrow, she'll take on guests and begin a one-way 16-night voyage through the Panama Canal to Seattle. Port calls will include Ocho Rios, Cartagena, Puerto Caldera, Cabo San Lucas in Mexico. As part of Carnival Corporation's health and safety protocols, all eligible guests cruising on voyages 16 days or longer have to have a booster shot. In October, Spirit will return to Florida to operate 6- and 8-night voyages in the Caribbean. Carnival Spirit is expected to remain in North America through 2023. Its sister ship, the Splendor, will head back to Australia early in 2022. Royal Caribbean has said that due to the fluidity of the COVID-19, that their protocols are subject to change and they will announce changes if there are any. But they have extended their their protocols through the end of June. Boosters are not required to sail, although the CDC recommends them before boarding cruise ships. All guests 12 years and older must be fully vaccinated at least 14 days before sailing. All guests 2 years and older must present a negative COVID test. Vaccinated guests 12 and over must have a PC or antigen test taken no more than 2 days prior to sailing. Unvaccinated children 2 to 11, the PCR test must be taken no more than 3 days prior to sailing, but not on boarding day. Antigen tests are not accepted for unvaccinated guests. No testing is required for guests under 2. For sailings that are 5 nights or longer, unvaccinated guests 2 to 11 will take a complimentary antigen test prior to debarkation. All guests, regardless of vaccine status, may visit most ports freely or book shore excursions. Masks are optional for fully vaccinated guests. However, they do expect children that are unvaccinated to wear guests indoors and around crowded settings. So, Royal Caribbean, basically, nothing has changed, but they're extending the protocols till the end of June. Oceania Cruising is actually taking 2 of their ships, the Riviera and the Marina, and doing a complete remake, a renovation from top to bottom. The Riviera will be completed in December of 2022. The Marina will not be finished until November of 2023. Every surface of every suite and stateroom will be entirely new, while in the public areas, a refreshed color palette will surround a tasteful renewal of fabrics, furnishings, and light fixtures that exquisitely encompass the style and comfort of Oceania Cruises. These are going to be on par with Carnival's completely redoing ships and renaming them. However, there's no plans for Oceania to rename any of the ships. All right. One final story today has to do with our buddies over at Holland America. Holland America has chosen the winner of the Love Letters to Alaska contest, which was open for entries from Valentine's Day through March the 15th. More than 40,000 entries were received in that time, and the grand prize winner will receive a 7-day Holland America Line Alaska cruise for 2 in a luxurious Neptune suite. Deborah Thelwell from Phoenix, Arizona was named the grand prize winner. Thelwell's passionate and heart-wrenching entry was a poem honoring her husband, Alan, who passed away before they were able to take their dream cruise to Alaska. Thelwell's husband had sailed all over the world in British Merchant Navy, but never made it to Alaska. Your love of the sea, your love of me, my love of you, so strong and true. Our dreams once dreamed, but now it seems I must sail on alone to see the glaciers and caress the land. That's an insert from Thelwell's winning entry. Well, that's it for the news this morning, folks. Let's jump over in the chat room and see if anybody's fussing at me today. It's getting a little noisy here in the background, if some of you may have noticed. All right, let's see who's with us today. Again, doing this without, no expectations of who's going to be with us. Kenneth's here. Hi, Kenneth. Travels with Lizzie Lou is with us. Hey, Lizzie, good to see you again. Bonnie's with us down in Florida. Hot Air Tom's here. Good to see you, Hot Air. Nikki's with us. Hey, Nikki, how you doing? I hope you're getting back closer to normal now. Cindy's here. Good morning, Cindy. Tom Henry said, I did a search for trains from Lynchburg to Seattle. Nice price and depart on Wednesday. Get to Seattle 4.5 days later. Interesting, the business class price is lower than coach. That's correct. But unfortunately, the business class there's 4 segments. I got business class from Lynchburg to Washington. And then the last little piece going into Seattle, I think, is business class. But then it's not business class for the main part of the run from Chicago towards Seattle. But yeah, the business class was cheaper than coach. I found out odd too. But anyway, it's booked. So paid for the tickets, everything. So I'm definitely doing the Quantum of the Seas, and I'm going to do it by getting there on a train. So Hot Air says it's Madam Bonnie, saying hello to our friend Bonnie. How is Wi-Fi in your cabin? I talked to John last night on Messenger, and it seemed fine. I didn't try live streaming from the cabin because I really wanted to be out here more in the middle of things. But yeah, it's so far so good. I have no complaints about the Wi-Fi. Once I got hooked up and going. Lizzie Lou says, I need you on Quantum. I'm still unsure what cruise line to choose for Alaska for 2024 with family. Well, I'm going to certainly give you a good rundown on Quantum now. And I'm pretty excited. I actually have gotten where I was dreading it after the flight to LA. Now I'm getting excited about Alaska now. I have been in 47 of our 50 states in this country. And 2 of them, my 3 states that I have not been in are Oregon, Washington, and Alaska. So I'll knock out 2 of those on this trip. I don't think that the train across from Chicago, I don't know, it might go. I'm not sure if one of the on the trip on the way out, one of the legs went through Sacramento and then up to Seattle. If that's the case, I'll knock out all 3 states because I got to go to Oregon to get to Seattle. But if it goes straight across, it misses Oregon, and I'll still be missing 1. But anyway, I'm really excited about it now. It will be a new experience for all of us because I don't know that anybody's ever live streamed all the way across country from a train. So maybe it's another first for Chillie's Cruises. Katie's with us. Hi, Katie. How you doing? My one of my dinner companions last night lives in your neck of the woods now. Bonnie says, I love Bar Harbor. So it's a cute little town. Portland is cute too. National Park is wonderful. That's Acadia National Park. Yeah, I love the park. I love Maine. Of course, I love lobster rolls. So therefore, I love Maine. I love their lobster. I love everything about it. Bahaba. Yeah, I don't say it like you Yankees do. I'm too Southern with my Bar Harbor. Lobster rolls and whoopie pies. Oh yeah, I forgot about the whoopie pies are made up there too. I'm sitting at home gnawing on a matzah. Yeah. Well, Bonnie, I realize it's Passover, so you got to do those kind of things. So, any idea what the Carnival announcement will be on 4/18? No. I did hear a rumor that they were making an announcement, but I have no idea what it's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not shuffling some more ships around. They seem to be doing a lot of that lately. Chillie made it to the ship. Oh, yeah, I made it to the ship. That was no problem. And by the way, folks, I have not had a chance to do a video on this, but I will. But see, I got a gift from the Royal Caribbean too. I got something to put my Diet Coke in. The port folks in Los Angeles and the Navigator of the Seas folks did everything absolutely perfectly at embarkation yesterday. I mean, I didn't have anything to complain about at all. I had wheelchair service from the curb. It took less than a minute for the wheelchair to be hailed, and a nice little lady, she was a little small for pushing my big fat butt around, but she brought the wheelchair. We got inside, get through all the security. She double checked everything to make sure I had it, so that when we got up to the desk, it goes lickety split smooth. Went through security, which, I mean, that, you know, going through security, he says going through security. And yes, because of my situation with hips and so forth, I had to be, you know, wanded and patted down and all that business, which I'm used to that. Then they handed me off to the ship's personnel after you got through security. It took, like maybe a minute tops that I waited for the guy to take me right on the elevator up the ramp onto the ship. Now, it was still way early because I had no idea how long it was going to take the Uber driver to pick me up at the hotel. I gave myself a half an hour and was a half hour early. So it took the Uber driver 4 minutes to pick me up. So I was actually close to an hour before my allotted time at the port. So once I'm on the ship, the stateroom, of course, is not ready yet. So my guy that pushed the wheelchair on the ship said, okay, let's go see if we can't get this taken care of. Let's go to guest services first. So we went to guest services, went over to talk to them and said, okay, you'll have your scooter in about 10 minutes. We're going to go downstairs. I'm going to park you at Bolero's. You can have a drink and somebody's going to bring your scooter to you. I said, huh? He says, oh yeah, guest services has sent somebody to your cabin to get your scooter and they're going to bring it to you at Bolero's. I said, okay, just so long as I don't have to, you don't expect me to walk. He said, oh, no, it's done. I said, okay. So they took me downstairs to Bolero. By the time I ordered a drink, and I didn't have to wait to order, I ordered a drink. The bartender mixed my bourbon and Diet Coke and handed it to me. And I picked up the glass and I got it to about right here. And the guy says, Charles Falls, here's your scooter. I said, oh, wow. So I had the scooter, so then I could go anywhere on the ship I wanted, except to my stateroom. It was still, a couple hours till they opened the staterooms up to everybody. But I mean, I could go upstairs, I could go eat, I could, I actually did probably a third of all the filming I was going to do on this ship was done yesterday. So, I mean, I've got editing and stuff to do on a lot of stuff already. So this was just a absolutely fabulous embarkation. Hats off to the Los Angeles folks and the Navigator in the Seas. This was the absolute perfect embarkation for anybody that's mobility challenged. So, and I'm going to put that in a video as well. Let's see, where am I here? Still waiting for RCL protocols for my Anthem of the Seas May 13th. Would like to know if must order tests or not. Let me check on that one for you, Lizzie. I am reasonably sure that you're going to still have to have the pre-test like is on it now. But let me double check that. Emily says, hello, Chillie and gang. Don't know. I saw the post from John Hild about the passenger who accosted him, ripping off his mask so they could take a selfie with John. Yeah, that kind of sucked. Your Wi-Fi seemed to be working out well. Thank you, Emily. Yeah, I thought so too. Kenneth says, now you qualify for your new movie, so you'll be famous. The new movie starring Chillie Falls in planes, trains, automobiles, and cruise ship. I like that, Kenneth. Yeah, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. I'm like I said, I'm excited about this now. I really am. Emily says, love Maine too, not the lobster. Emily, we got to work on you about your eating habits. Don't like lobster. I'll be a law against that. Is it a full ship? We're sailing about 80%. So this is by far better than it's been. As far as crew goes, yeah, there's like 2,700 out of, I forget the exact numbers, out of 3,600. Anyway, it worked out to be like right at 80%. Super sticker from Kenneth. Thank you. And a super sticker from Bonnie. Thank you guys. As all. Oh, and Cindy's one too. Super sticker for Cindy. Thank you guys. As always, I appreciate any donations that comes into the channel. That's always helpful. Yeah, thank you very much. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. As always, yeah, I'm on a ship. I'm happy. And so far, there's a couple of things that are not as accessible on Navigator as I'd like to see them. There were some issues in the casino when I went through there yesterday. There's some issues with one of the bars up on the pool deck. Of course, the pools and hot tubs are all inaccessible to me. They call them accessible because of the lift chairs, but you guys know my feeling about that. There's also in the schooner bar, which is one of my favorite bars on this ship, the actual area where the piano player sits and the main tables in the schooner bar is up 2 steps. So that's inaccessible. Although you can get around part of it on the ground level, but there's no ramps up to the area where the main audience sits in the schooner bar for the piano bar playing. So I have not been there at night. Last night, again, folks, I'm on East Coast time. So after dinner last night, that was what, 7:30, something like that, which is 10:30 to my body time. I went to my stateroom and crashed. And so I slept in the middle of the night to ship's time, which was, right time for my body. But anyway, so getting used to the West Coast time is going to be a challenge here for the next couple of days. By the time I get used to it, it'll be time to go home. Anyway, Emily says, does anyone care if you wear a mask or not? On the Royal Caribbean's policy is wearing masks is your choice. You can wear it or not wear it. I have been very comfortable. I started on Adventure of the Seas. I'm really comfortable not wearing the mask now, even around kids. Am I taking a risk? Maybe so, but the majority of the people on this ship, there are still a few that wear masks, and that's fine. The staff still has to wear, the crew has to wear masks. That's still required. But as far as the passengers go, I would say 90% are going maskless on Royal Caribbean ships now. You still have the hand washing, hand sanitization stations. They still meet you when you go into the restaurants and ask you to wash your hands and sanitize. They are now, you have to serve yourself in the buffet again. I don't like that. But yeah, masks is totally optional now on Royal Caribbean ships. Check out the thermal suite in the spa. The therapy pool might be accessible. I was up there yesterday. It's open at 8 o'clock in the morning. You just have to go in and sign in and use it. And so, yes, and I have not checked it to see if it's accessible yet. But I will do that probably sometime today. I'll go up there and because since it's a little cold, I was hoping to do it on a day when it was hot enough outside. A lot of people would be outside. We'll see what the weather goes later on in the day. Emily says, cool, very good, Chillie. Hot Air says, watch it, whoopie pies. Our Pennsylvania Dutch Maine is stealing them from Lancaster County. Oh, I remember seeing a place that made them up there, I thought. You know what? I do remember whoopie pies being in Lancaster from my years living in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I think you're right, Hot Air Tom. Anyway, all right, that's going to wrap me up for today, guys. As always, if you're new to this channel, we appreciate the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. We love to have you folks subscribe. Helps the channel out tremendously. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all meet on the high seas. This is the big fat travel guy. Oh, by the way, no Cruise Amigos tomorrow since it's Easter Sunday. John and I decided that there will not be a show tomorrow. So I will see everybody back here on Monday, same time, same channel, 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time with Travel and Cruise Industry News. You guys have a terrific holiday, and I'll see everybody probably sometime live between now and then, but if not, come Monday morning. This is the old fat travel guy. Have a fabulous weekend. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.